This is Cheyenne Valentine back today again with a new episode. Today's episode, I just want to say, first of all, I'm outside, so you might hear some noise in the background. So I'm going to talk as loud as I can. But I really want to get this video out. This video, I want to talk about, where are the men like Malcolm X? And where are the men like Malcolm X now? Where are the black men like Malcolm X now in the world? And also our so-called black leaders are just, we really don't have no good black leaders. We don't have a black leader, in my opinion. So let me get into it. I don't know, I'm pretty sure people don't know this, but ever since I was a little girl, I always admired Malcolm X. And it first started, when I used to go to my cousin's house. I think that's where I first read the book Roots by Alex Haley. And I was obsessed with that book. And I remember one part of that book that really stood out was when they talked about Alex Haley's, when he talked about his great-great-grandfather, I guess, great-great-great-grandfather Kunta Kinte. I don't know how far back he went back, but in the book, Kunta Kinte was in Africa before he got kidnapped and brought over here and enslaved. And he talked about, in that book, the women in Africa would dye. So the palms of our hands is lighter than the backside of our hand. So they would dye the palms and the soles of their feet black with a black dye. And they said because being black, they said something about because being black was beautiful, or it was important to be black all over. It was something like that, and that just always stood out to me, that they love their complexion so much, and being dark chocolate or black, being that color, they thought that color was so beautiful that they even dyed the palms of their hands, as the palms of their hands was lighter. And to me, it made me feel proud at the moment for being black, like wow, and I always want to know, why did they feel so much pride in being black, or why they thought that having dark skin was beautiful when in this society they tell us otherwise. So that really was just interesting. I always loved that part when they discussed that in the book. But that's the first book I read, but first book about slavery and the black plight. And then the next book I read was Malcolm X, and I kept that book for multiple years. I wouldn't even read it anymore. I just would keep it. Sometimes I would look back in his book, Malcolm X book, and read certain sections. One of my favorite parts of his book was when he met his wife Betty Shabazz. I just loved their relationship. But lately I've been looking at videos of him, and because I read his book, but I never would look at, back then they didn't have YouTube. So now they have YouTube, now I can look at some of his speeches, and they're in black and white, which is weird. And the man was brilliant, and he had a hard life, but I feel like it was meant for him to go through what he went through, and it was meant for him to have the father that he had. His father, I think, was a activist / pastor. He got murdered. So I feel like he was meant to take the path he did, and he wanted to be a lawyer at first because he's really good with words and debating, but he ended up becoming an activist. And so I have decided I'm going to start celebrating his birthday like they celebrate Martin Luther King's birthday, which they should. I love both of those men. They had a different approach to things, but they both were brilliant. And I hated that they tried to put those two men against each other, because they always want to put two people against each other. Like, they both had the same goal, they just went about it differently. I also like that Malcolm X, in the end, that he decided, he was against all white people at first, which is incorrect, because as we all know, we're all human beings, and there's not only one good or one bad person in every race. I mean, did I say that right? One race is not all bad and one race is not all good. In each race there's good and bad people. That goes for the white race, black race, Asian, Hispanic, it don't matter. It's about the person's character, and what they look like on the outside does not determine that. It can determine some things, but he realized towards the end of his life, when he visited Mecca, that we went to the mosques there and seen that the Muslims, they were of all different colors. They were not all black. They were white, they were darker, they were lighter, blonde hair, green eyes. Some was darker, some was lighter. And so he realized that not all white people are devil. He had that beat into his head from Elijah Muhammad that all white people were devils. That's not true. All of nothing is the same, and so I like that he evolved, because I'm for all human beings, I'm for all people. And And that's one sentence. I'm for all people. Now, I am black, and so black people have been subjugated and treated like crap. So I've noticed that blacks have it very hard on this planet, and blacks need help. They need to be deprogrammed. They need to practice self-love. A lot of blacks don't love themselves. So when you don't love yourself, it feels refreshing to see a black person, especially a black male, fight for you and talk highly of you and your people and try to bring you out of oppression. So that's why I really looked up to him. And I think the thing about him to me was the fact that he was handsome, but he was so intelligent and so focused on his wife and children. You know, you usually don't see that combination together. Now, I don't know, some women might not, I don't know how they would have thought about his looks, but to me, especially when he grew that facial hair, towards the end of his life, he had the goatee and kind of like the little small afro. I mean, I think he was gorgeous to me. And not only that, I thought he was very handsome, and on top of very intelligent, and on top of being, you know, really into his wife and children. And he had a very high moral compass once he entered the Islam religion. He followed it to the T. You know, no drinking, no smoking, no fornicating, no adultery. He followed it to the T. So he was, to me, you know, I wish that he could be replicated. So my thing is, where are the men like him now? Let me get to it. Where are the men in the black community like Malcolm X? You know, when I look at his videos and hear him speak, it makes me sad, because I have yet to meet a black man like him. And look, we're all individuals. No, you don't have to be just like Malcolm X, but it, you know, just if you listen to some of his speeches about how he said you're supposed to protect black women, and you would do anything to protect your women and be there for your women, and just telling people when you're done with your work, still be productive and do this and do that. It just, he was so focused, and he loved people. He loved humanity, and he also loved black people. And because a lot of people don't love black people, a lot of times black people, we don't even love ourselves. So where are the black men like him? You know, it would just be so great to see those black men. Now, let's get to the so-called black leaders now. In my opinion, we don't have any black leaders. I'm not going to name any names. If you just think about the people, the black men, I'm strictly talking about black men, because a lot of times black men want to be the leaders in the community. Think about the black men, right? That call themselves trying to, you know, take the lead now. It's always a controversy about them, or some ain't right with them, or they biased. It's just always some bullshit with them. I can't name one black man that's out here now that's pro-black or for the black people that talk with any fucking sense or have any type of, something always wrong with him. Either he is laying up with strippers, either he, you know, the woman he's with doesn't reflect his love of black women, either he is a con artist, either he, you know, either he's doing it just to get money from the black community. Because let me tell you something, everybody, I don't know if you noticed, black people, if you want to make some money, black people collectively, I ain't say individually, collectively, we are very gullible. And I think because we've been so oppressed, and they have targeted our community and fucked up our community so much, and we have continued it with our behavior, we're looking for an answer. So anybody that presents themselves with an answer, we turn them into a god. And this person can run game on us, get our money. We donate to all these fake causes. With blacks, you can cause them to hate the other gender. You can cause them to hate somebody based upon their complexion. You can cause them to hate somebody because of their hair. Like, we just got so many things within our community where we hate one another, that it's easy for somebody to come along and make a lot of money off of us. It's easy for somebody to say that I'm your next savior, I'm your next, follow me. And this person can be a fucking hypocrite in so many ways, but we will follow them. And when I think about Elijah Muhammad, basically the reason why Malcolm X left the organization, they kicked him out, was because Elijah Muhammad kept impregnating teenage girls, and I think he impregnated about 8 of them and had about 10 kids currently when Malcolm X exposed them. And so it was literally people in the organization that wanted Malcolm X's tongue cut out and saying he was lying, and some of these people knew what this man did, but still felt he was a god. Listen, everybody, don't put anybody on God stats. I don't look at Malcolm X as a god, Martin Luther King as a god. I look at them as very brilliant men, but they're still human. They still have flaws. Nobody's better than you. Nobody's a god. And I don't even like using the word leader, but some people maybe are more fit to quote unquote lead, but they're not going to always be right. So be an individual, have your own mind. You can be a part of something, but not follow everything that it wants you to follow. So you could be part of an organization, but if you have objections to certain rules and regulations, you shouldn't have to follow them. I mean, let me take that back. If you're part of that organization, you have to follow them. But if it's a rule or regulation you feel is absurd, you need to challenge it. And if they don't want to change it, you leave. Like, you never try to kill somebody over someone else. And Malcolm X even said that he would have killed over Elijah Muhammad. And Muhammad had that much mind control over those men. I'm gonna tell you why. Because black people, when you are so oppressed and you looking for help, sometimes a person could take advantage of that and present themselves as a god to you because you feel like this person is abnormal. When you're used to people around you being degenerate, not having any morals and integrity, you do find a person that looks like you, that has it, and they're of the same gender and they're older, and you look at them as a wise person, you can kind of put them on a pedestal and almost end up worshiping them in your head. You should never do that. When I say a leader, I just mean a person that helps guide people. That's it. I don't even like the word lead, because they could be leading us off of a cliff. Okay, so just, this person has good guidance and it feels good in your spirit, use your intuition. You can follow their guidance, but when that guidance starts to get weird, then you go down another path. You don't follow a person off of a cliff. So I just want to say, with these so-called black male leaders, now I have yet to, I'm even talking about wasn't Al Sharpton supposed to be a leader, or Jesse Jackson? I mean, come on, fucking jokes. I don't even like Farrakhan. Like, none of them. Doesn't Farrakhan have a relaxer in his head or something? I mean, anyway, look, I like spiritual people who can see that we're all human and that we all should be treated with respect. So since blacks are being treated very disrespectfully and have been, they need extra attention and they need individual attention. That's how I look at it. And they need help. It's not being racist when you say that I see this group of people are suffering more. They need more attention and help. That's basically how I look at it. And I happen to be part of black race, so I'm in the deep of it. If I was another race, I probably wouldn't care to that extent, because I wouldn't be around black, so I really wouldn't know just what's going on with them, and I'd probably just be off in my own world and not really paying attention. But I would care though, and if it was injustice going on in front of me, I would say something. So I just want to say that I guess we're on our own now, because I can't think of any black organization that's pure, that has good intentions. Like they always will start out with good intentions, and some kind of way they get fucking corrupted. They infiltrate from within and then they turn on each other. Okay, the problem I see with some of these black organizations is that the so-called leader end up misusing his or her authority, and then breaking rules that they want everybody else in the congregation to follow. They stop following them because they're a god now, and then nobody kicks them out and drags them out the organization. They keep them there, or nobody leaves and starts a new one. And the people, and so most people stay under this person, know what they're doing, and protects them, protects this degenerate, sick fucking behavior, whether they're molesting children, whether they're a pedophile, whether they're stealing money, whatever they're doing, they justify it, because it almost become like a cult. And so I ask people, you need to stay an individual. And if you admire someone's belief systems and things of that nature, there's nothing wrong with listening to them and maybe following some things that they're saying, or taking their guidance. But when they start going off course and acting crazy, or they're wrong about something, you hold them to task for what they did. That's all there is to it. And as a matter of fact, if they keep continuing this bad behavior, they need to be removed of their duties. They need to be kicked out of the organization. They cannot hold that position no more. They can't hold that rank no more. They should be brought down or removed from that organization. That's just how I look at it. So I just want to make this quick video. Yeah, that I just want to know, where are the men like Malcolm X? I'm not saying you have to be exactly like him, but just when he got into the Nation of Islam, especially once he left, the man that he became was just incredible. Seemed like he was a good husband, good father. I'm pretty sure he had his flaws, but it seemed like he loved his wife and children very much. And I keep talking about that because it's like hard to find a black man now who wants to be married and who's really into his wife and kids and wants to be faithful and monogamous. And who's against, loose sex and stuff, because he was against loose sex and stuff like that. And back in the day when he was a street runner, he dealt, I think he was a pimp, and he dealt with drugs, and he did everything. So he experienced the, running the street and doing all the criminal activity. He went to jail for like 8 years, and then he see that wasn't the right to take. So maybe it's good he did go down a criminal route in the beginning of his life, to see that that's not what you want to do, is degenerate. And then he got turned onto the Nation of Islam. He said changed his life. So, for me, it's sad as a black woman to look at videos of this man and never have met him, and wish that I had met him, and wish that I could run into a man now that was like him. I hate even admitting that I like, when I say meet a man like him, I mean, my boyfriend's a good guy, but what I'm saying is just, it's not just all about me. I when I say meet a man like him, I just wish it was enough of those kind of men that are alive now for other black women. I want black women to have a man like that, who has morals and integrity, who's family oriented, who wants to see his people rise, who wants to see his people have money and businesses and have self-love. So it's not just about me. Even if I have someone who's a good person, what about all the other black women who, are left to date these individuals that's out here that's not about shit? See, for me, and with a lot of people, it's all just about them. They just want to find them somebody for them. Screw that. No, there ain't gonna be any other good black man out here for nobody else. They just want them all, as long as they found them one good one. But that's the problem. I mean, it should be a lot of them to go around. It shouldn't just be one or two and you lucked out and finding one. It should be same with black men. I'm pretty sure black men want it to be a surplus of good black women who they like how they look, who are ladylike and feminine and all that good stuff, not just one or two that they had to like search for. Don't you want a surplus of them? So I'm just saying, where are the black men now, like Malcolm X, who's trying to lead the people who have morals? See, he had morals and integrity. See, that's what we're missing with these leaders now. It seems like their downfall is money and their dick. Them the two things they had an issue with. Maybe three: drug and alcohol, their penis, and them being fame, whore / wanting money. Them is the three things that seem to be their downfall, especially that the money and the sex thing, women and the money. Them be the two main things they seem to have an issue with, and they do not want to work on those two things. They don't want to work on being greedy financially and only doing it for the money, because a lot of them just be doing it for the money, because black people are easy to manipulate, because we're kind of lost in the sauce, kind of. So I think blacks collectively are looking for someone to guide us because of the conditions of the black community. So it's easy for some black men to stand up there and say, I'm pro-black and I'm for black people, and just talk some black stuff and talk about white supremacy and all this shit. But look at his life. Look how he runs his life. Either he's screwing everybody, he's trying to be polygamous, or he's with a woman that does not, probably who's not even black or whatever. Something's up with him, or he's not even married and he's running through strippers, or he just listen to what I'm saying here. Like, or he then sold out and he wearing a relaxer like some of them. I mean, I can't. Like, those are not the two leaders to me. The two was Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and I follow more of Malcolm X because he was the type of person, he did not start anything, but he was gonna finish it. So he wasn't about attacking anybody, but if you attack him, he's gonna he was about attacking back. So that's how I am. That's how my personality is. I'm not gonna bother you, but if you fuck with me, I'm not gonna stop. Okay, so don't bother me and I won't bother you. So I liked his approach. On it just was something about him. He was brilliant. I loved his mind. He was very intelligent, and he really loved black people, just like Martin Luther King did. Both of them were great. I mean, I have none, they weren't perfect at all, but I just lean more towards Malcolm X. I don't know why. I think it's just, he seems so disciplined, so moral. He was so moral, so smart. I think that those two things, him being super moral and smart, and the fact that he actually was handsome and still was able to be like that and keep his integrity, I mean, that was awesome to me, So yeah, I just want to say that the video went a little bit longer than I expected, but yeah, where are the men like Malcolm X today? Well, what happened to them? These men now are arguing about single mothers and not trying to be married, having all these illegitimate children. They don't want to provide, they don't want to protect. Then the ones that call themselves leaders are just as you can see, they're trash. They don't hold a, these men now who try to be pro-black or lead the black community don't hold a fucking candle to Malcolm X and Martin Luther King.